Thanks for joining me today. This is Sweet Talk Live, I guess. Today, I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite cakes, and that cake is made from graham crackers. I love it. I use it all the time, and I'm making it for my work Christmas party. And I know it's February, but when you work in a restaurant, your Christmas party gets to be in February, so hang on. To start this recipe, we're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees and prep your pan for this pan recipe. You can make this recipe anyway. I've made it in big pans, little pans, cupcakes, all the different ways you can make it. But we're going to make it in a sheet pan today, 9 by 13. I'm going to make 2 layers of 9 by 13, so that's actually going to be doubling the recipe. It's really a good idea if you're going to use more than one pan to use identical pans. So try your best to do that. So let me tell you again what you need here. We're going to use flour, 1 cup. We're going to use 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of sugar, 3½ teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs, so I got to make those, 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of milk, and I'm doing a little experimenting today with some chocolate, Nestle Nesquik. We're also going to use 1½ teaspoons of vanilla, and 3 eggs, and 3/4 of a cup of shortening. So here we go. Pretty simple, these ingredients, and actually one of the greatest things about this recipe is that I don't even need to get out my stand mixer. This is super easy and super delicious. So like I said before, this is such an easy recipe. I'm taking my giant bowl, and all I'm doing is putting everything in it basically. I have 1 cup of flour in my bowl. My 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs in my bowl. Then I have to add 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, I didn't make this recipe up, so I don't know why it's such a weird measurement. Like, here's a half cup and my full cup and then 2 tablespoons. I don't know why, but I know it's delicious, so I'm not going to tell it it's wrong. So you're going to put that in there, and then we also have the 3½ teaspoons of baking powder. Now, baking powder and baking soda are 2 different things, people. They do very similar things, but they are different, and there's a reason for each of them. Sometimes there's a reason for both of them. But for this, we're just doing 3½ teaspoons of baking powder. So basically, just whatever the recipe calls for, do what they ask. Any recipe I've ever created, I've at least taken hints from other recipes on how to do something. So I've never really said, baking powder versus baking soda, but I'm sure you could find it somewhere. Alton Brown is a good person to research for something like that. So I'm going to do 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Gotta put it in there. And there's your dry ingredients. And it's all, again, like I said, in here. We already added the crumbs. And I'm going to do shortening. This is why this recipe is so easy and interesting, because I'm a butter girl. Butter's usually, what you're going for when you're cooking. It's that rich flavor, it's familiar, it's delicious, but when a recipe calls for shortening and it turns out this fantastic, I'll use it. So 3/4 of a cup of shortening. If you've never seen a Crisco stick, you're missing out. Because with a Crisco stick, all I have to do is figure out where the 3/4 area is, slice it basically, and dump it in, and try not to miss the bowl. So there's my shortening. Now I'm going to add milk. Remember I said I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm sure it'll end up delicious. And try this chocolate Nesquik. So again, I'm looking for 1 cup and 2 tablespoons. So this must be something to do with that sugar kind of thing. So we'll just use a cup of chocolate milk right in there. And then we just have 2 more ingredients. 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. Vanilla's like my favorite. So of course, so my favorite that this one's brand new. Take the top off there. So 1½ teaspoons. And I don't know how much you know about vanilla, but it really is important to use good quality vanilla. Vanilla imitation is, well, it's exactly that. It's vanilla imitation. So try to use the real stuff when you can. And then 3 eggs. Get this 3 eggs. Crack your egg on the counter. If you know that, it's because you are much, much, much less likely to get any shell in your bowl if you crack it on the counter. It took a long time for me to learn that. Really, it's pretty simple. So after I get all these things in here, which again, every ingredient in the bowl, all I'm going to do is beat this at low speed until my crumbs are moistened. That's it, right? Then beat it a little bit, beat at a higher speed for 2 minutes, and that's it. Another reason why it's my favorite go-to cake. And that's about it. I mean, I told you before to prep your pan, and I didn't really explain what that means is either grease and flour it, kind of old school, or new school, Pam spray and parchment paper. I love parchment paper. It makes life easier. You know, it's a little more expensive than flour and butter, but, well, it saves about an hour in the cleaning process. So once your batter looks fabulous like this, all you're going to do is dump that batter into your prepped pan. And we're going to bake it for 35 to 40 minutes. And once that's done, I will take it out and I'm going to tell you about what I'm going to do to make this cake even more fabulous. This is what my cake looks like. It's cooling here. Like I said, brown, beautiful on the outside. Looks kind of like a graham cracker, smells like a graham cracker, and definitely tastes like a graham cracker too. I promise to show you some pictures at the end of this roll right here from the cake when it's done, what it looked like from the inside and the outside. It might look something like this for my work. But I'm going to fill it with pudding, because I like to do that. And also, since it's a graham cracker cake, I'm going to fill it with chocolate-covered marshmallows. So, too bad you can't be at the party. If I have any leftovers, just call me and I'll send some your way. Thank you for watching this first debut episode of Sweet Talk Live. I'm Michelle, and have a delicious day.